Would you believe that movies began because of a horse? In 1878, a man tried to prove that all four of a horse's hooves leave the ground during a gallop. What he accidentally discovered instead would lead to the most powerful art form of modern history, cinema. Hi everyone, I'm Matt and welcome to 10 Minute Story, where real stories are always stranger than fiction. Imagine living your whole life without ever seeing a film. No cinema, no television, no Netflix, no TikTok. Your window into the world, books, paintings, newspapers, and your imagination. That was life for nearly all of human history, yet for centuries people were fascinated by movement and illusion. In ancient China, there were shadow puppets, intricate cutouts brought to life by candlelight behind silk screens. In Greece, devices like the magic lantern projected images on walls to entertain audiences. And in the 19th century, toys like the zoetrope used spinning cylinders and slits to create the illusion of motion. But these were just tricks, animations, not reality. Then came photography. In the 1830s and 40s, inventors like Daguerre and Talbot figured out how to freeze real life onto a surface. Now imagine combining photography with motion. That's where a man named Eadweard Muybridge comes in. In 1878, railroad baron Leland Stanford wanted to win a bet. He believed that during full gallop, a horse lifts all four hooves off the ground. To prove it, Muybridge lined up 12 cameras along a track. Each was triggered by a tripwire as the horse passed by. The result? A series of photographs that, when viewed in rapid succession, created the illusion of movement. He didn't invent movies, but he invented the idea behind them. And it got people thinking, what if we could see life in motion? Not just still photos. And if this story already has you hooked, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I publish a new historical mystery or true story every single day. You never know what you'll learn. The idea of motion fascinated inventors across the globe. In the United States, Thomas Edison and his assistant William Kennedy Laurie Dixon began working on a device called the kinetograph, a camera, and the kinetoscope, a peephole viewer. In 1891, they had a working model, a box where people could watch short-moving pictures, one person at a time. But over in France, the Lumière brothers, Auguste and Louis, had a different idea. Why not project the images? So many people could watch at once. And so, on December 28, 1895, in the basement of the Grand Café in Paris, they premiered La Sortie de l'usine Lumière, workers leaving the factory, to a paying audience. That moment is widely considered the birth of cinema. Audiences were stunned. They'd never seen real people moving on screen. One famous story tells of another early film, Arrival of a Train at La Ciotat. When the train appeared to come toward the camera, people in the theater screamed and ran, thinking the train would burst through the wall. For the first time in history, humanity could watch life play out, recreated on a screen. But early films were just that, recordings of life. No stories, no cuts, no editing. They were often a few seconds long, people walking, a man sneezing, a baby eating. Still, the potential was enormous. And then, magic entered the frame. Georges Méliès, a French illusionist and theater owner, saw in film not just a way to show reality, but to escape it. He built elaborate sets, used camera tricks, and pioneered special effects. In 1902, he released Le Voyage dans la Lune, a trip to the moon. It featured astronauts, alien creatures, and that iconic scene of a rocket hitting the moon's face. Méliès understood something crucial. The camera wasn't just a window, it was a tool for storytelling. Meanwhile, in the United States, filmmakers began to push technical and narrative boundaries. One of the earliest storytellers in cinema was Edwin S. Porter, whose 1903 film The Great Train Robbery used cross-cutting, camera movement, and dynamic action to tell a 12-minute story. That was revolutionary. Soon, filmmakers realized they could manipulate time, space, and emotion. Studios sprang up, first in New Jersey and Chicago, but weather and space pushed them west. By the 1910s, Hollywood had become the global capital of film production. Silent movies ruled the era. Stars like Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and Mary Pickford captivated millions. Their faces became icons, their antics adored across languages. But behind the glamour, the industry was fiercely competitive. Studios controlled every aspect: production, distribution, exhibition. It was the birth of the studio system, where actors were under long-term contracts, and creativity often bowed to profit. Still, the silent era produced masterpieces: Metropolis in Germany, Battleship Potemkin in Russia, The Passion of Joan of Arc in France. Each pushed the boundaries of visual storytelling, but the biggest change was coming. In 1927, The Jazz Singer premiered. Now, it wasn't the first sound film, but it was the first to be a commercial hit. When Al Jolson spoke his now famous line, wait a minute, you ain't heard nothing yet," audiences were shocked and thrilled. The silent era ended almost overnight. Studios rushed to adapt. Some silent stars faded into obscurity, their voices unsuited for the new medium. Others, like Chaplin, resisted sound for years. Then came color. Early experiments like Kinemacolor and Technicolor slowly gave way to full-color features. By the late 1930s, films like The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind showed what cinema could really look like. And during this time, Hollywood entered its golden age, from the 1930s to the early 1950s. Classics like Casablanca, Citizen Kane, and Sunset Boulevard weren't just entertainment, they were art, commentary, and cultural milestones. But cinema wasn't just an American phenomenon. Italy gave us neorealism, with films like Bicycle Thieves, showing the raw, everyday struggles of post-war life. Japan stunned the world with Kurosawa's Rashomon and Seven Samurai, blending deep philosophy with masterful storytelling. India's Bollywood exploded with musicals that mixed love, drama, dance, and color in uniquely rich ways. By the 1960s and 70s, a new generation of filmmakers took over. Scorsese, Coppola, Kubrick, Spielberg, Lucas. They broke the rules, told darker, more personal stories, and invented the modern blockbuster. Jaws and Star Wars redefined how films were marketed, merchandised, and released. Then came CGI. In 1993, Jurassic Park stunned audiences with lifelike dinosaurs. In 1995, Toy Story became the first fully computer-animated feature film. The new millennium brought digital cameras, editing software, and eventually streaming. Today, anyone with a smartphone can shoot, edit, and share a film. Platforms like YouTube, Netflix, and TikTok have changed what cinema means. And who gets to make it? Here's the twist. Cinema, this emotional billion-dollar global art form, is based on a lie. It's just 24 still images per second, flickering fast enough to trick your brain. And yet, those flickers have made us cry, cheer, question, remember. Cinema has shown us war, peace, love, despair, and hope. It has transported us across time, galaxies, and into the human soul. From a galloping horse to virtual reality, cinema isn't just a medium, it's a mirror of our fears, our dreams, and our desire to understand what it means to be human. 10-minute story. Every day a new pill of curiosity.